feliz Día de las Madres, ¿no?
Feliz Día de las Madres a todas las madres. Bueno, en México y en otros países de Latinoamérica se celebra hoy, el 10 de mayo. Qué emoción ser mamá. Bueno, yo ahorita estoy celebrando que soy mamá de 2 hijas y 2 bebés que vienen en camino.
4 bebés.
4 hijos.
Y quieres 6.
Pronto. Y quiero 6. 5 mínimo.
Wow. Y yo crecí pensando que no iba a tener ninguno.
Y tienes 2.
Y tengo 2. Pero uno, one, they begged me for 10 years. But it was the best thing that ever happened to me. So happy Mother's Day. Oh my gosh. It is an important day because honestly, you've put something into my head that's super important. And I think that it will shift a lot of people in their thoughts. It's like the importance of what we are as mothers, like what we do as like that ripple effect and how we affect the community as we become a mother. Share a little bit about that and like what you share with people about, you know, when you heal a woman, a mother, you heal several layers of people.
Layers, yes, definitely. Healing is very important because you project who you are, and who you are is who you are outside, but mostly inside.
Yeah,
right?
you reflect that,
so if you have traumas, if you have pain, if you have depression, if you have anxiety from the past or anxiety from the future, and these are traumas from your inner child, and you're carrying just a large bag, all that will reflect on your face. It will reflect on your demeanor. It will reflect on how you treat people around you. It will reflect, like, if somebody honks at you, how you react to somebody honking at you, right?
Reaction.
Are you going to say, hey, fuck you? Or are you going to say,
It's true.
they're having a bad day? It's not my fault.
I hope
right?
everything's okay.
And I hope everything's okay, and you go on with your day. So little things like that really aggregate to the big picture of who you are.
Yeah.
And if you have things to heal that you don't heal, they not only do they project outside and inside of you, but they also become cancers, right? I am a true believer that cancer is caused for a demise of emotions.
Yeah.
And emotions that are just stuck. And the fluidity of blood and oxygen is not going as should in your body, and that just causes cancer. And so when you heal a mom, you empower them, you believe in them. That's a person that will now inspire to aspire for new things, right? And as that mom is healed, she has just a powerful impact in her immediate circle, like her kids or her husband, and then on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, up to 7 layers around them.
Because of how those people were affected in their immediate.
Yeah. And so it's how, you know, you get approached by a problem and how you're going to solve that problem. It's how you're going to perceive things in life, how you're going to make your goals for this year or next year. How are you just going to enjoy life, period,
How
right?
you show up, what the intention
How do
is
you
for the
show
day.
up? How is your intention for the day? How do you help others? Are you of a resource, or you're just like a little bee? So all those things have to do with what you're projecting, and what you project and is what you attract. And what you attract is what you mirror. So what are you mirroring, right? You ask yourself that simple question.
So true. You know, you hear it all the time, but when you literally implement it, it is such a major shift in life. You went through it when you were going through healing from a really, really, you know, broken and dark place at the time that you were having a few years ago. You know, and then there's people like me who go through life and you didn't even really realize you were carrying anything. You're thinking like, I'm constantly doing the work, and no, like you stop and you think about like, what, you know, like I have these conversations with my son, and because I'm always reflecting and I'm always trying to be better and do better by pointing the finger within, right? Like I sucked as a mother with my son, like horribly. And I'm like, did I mess you up? Like, tell me, let's talk about it. You know, I want to own that. And he's like, no, Mom, like I learned, you know, your work ethic, but I mean, yeah, like you could have done Thanksgiving, you know, you could have like cooked, you could have like made cookies. And I'm like, I know, you know, like, but think about that. Like it affects your children when they don't feel that time. You say it all the time. It's like quality time. But once you do, and like I own it with my son. You know, like I have those long and deep conversations about how lost I was and what I didn't know in that time that I know now. And now I can go, that was because of my childhood. That's because
See, you're being a proactive mother because you are awake and you are
woke. I'm woke.
You're
P.
woke because you're woke. You know what the healing journey is, so you go and knock on his door.
Oh hell yeah.
Usually, it's people that become extremely broken and they try to go through their healing and they need to go and knock on their parents' door, right? So you're being very proactive about the situation because none of us are perfect as a parent, you know. There's you know, I've met many hero moms. I call them hero moms. They want to be involved.
What's a hero mom?
They want to be involved in all the school activities. They want to be involved in all the planning.
Yeah, I have friends like that.
Of the school. They want to go like to the
super
zoo.
moms.
They're super moms. They want to go to the park. They do activities. They do crafts together.
They make the cupcakes.
They make the cupcakes, but they're super good at that and they're really bad in other areas, right? Or they're super good at that, but they don't know how to discipline their kids. So then usually their kids are super rude and they're bullies at school and that kind of thing,
because
right?
they're being defined by like, do you think it's because they're being defined of like, oh, I'm the best mom at this school, I'm the
I think that they're trying to cover up a void, right? So they just excessively try. Now if you excessively try and you conquer that and your kid is well behaved and he has straight A's or B's and they have manners and you have a good marriage and you keep it balanced, wow, kudos to you, badass, right?
Yeah.
But most of the time moms don't have the time to be hero moms because they have a job, right? So a lot of these hero moms don't have a job because they're focused on nurturing their kids and raising their kids, and that's awesome.
Yeah,
like
that's
what a
hard.
privilege. And it's hard. It's a hard
I
job.
did that for 2 years. Like,
and what a privilege to have that opportunity, right? And I think that keeping a balance is what's important for me. Keeping a balance with my husband, keeping a balance with my kids, keeping a balance in my home, keeping my home organized.
but a balance defined by you.
And a balance defined by me, because at the end,
Super
balance
important.
is to the eye of the beholder, right?
Right.
I don't go shopping with my daughter the way she would love to, but I do other things with her.
Yeah.
You know, like my daughter knows how to go and defend herself from a bully situation. She knows how to get out of a friendship, toxic relationship. Like she has other skills.
Yeah.
But mom doesn't go shopping with her and spends 3 hours at the store. And we're like there, you know, looking at little things and pairing up outfits. We don't do that.
Yeah.
But we do other things.
But you're learning
right?
how to do that.
I'm trying.
Yeah. You're learning how to do that. Because at the end of the day, you're also reflecting. Like, okay, wait, I may not do this,
You
but
constantly have to be,
Yeah.
what do you need to be better at, right? I mean, the day that you become bored and you feel that you need that change, that's the day that your demise starts.
why?
Because when you feel you're too comfortable and nothing is changing,
Comfortable is awful.
yeah, you're too comfortable and nothing is changing, you'll stop paying attention to what's falling off track. And by the time you know it, it may be a little too late.
You know, let's go into like the main topic was, I mean, I've learned so much in the short time that you know, we've been working every single day together, but like the main, I mean, it was a life-changing moment, the whole harboring of feelings that I had against mom. And I really want people out there to know that, like, it's okay when you start to reflect, but know that this is, and I did not know, like, know that your mom is only doing what she has the tools to do, which is us. Like, think about it. Like, stop pointing a finger, look within. You don't know what you don't know until you know. You're doing the best that you can with what you have.
And right now, you are doing as mothers what we can with what we know, with what we have.
As we're learning.
So the same credit shall be applied to our mothers. So no mother has ever sucked. But
I mean,
no, but that they did the best they could.
oh wow, drug addict mom.
And they were in that position, and they couldn't get out of that position.
Demi Moore's mom, like, literally used her to prostitute her.
When she was a fucking bitch. But
Right? That's not a good mom,
No,
right?
that's not a good mom. But in her world, from her perspective, she went through episodes in her life that Demi Moore couldn't control.
God, I know.
Like, what took her mom to borrow her daughter to prostitution? So if you go in and you just
tried.
look at this square of Demi Moore's mom with all the bad stuff that happened to her, with all the bad decisions she made, maybe it wasn't the worst that she was doing.
Whoa.
Think about that. And so it's applying different perspectives. At the end, we have no right to judge anybody.
That's true.
El toro por los cuernos y el toro por el que lo menea. That means, like, the one that's going to judge the horse ride or the bull ride is the one on the bull. You're going to see a perspective, but you're not going to know.
You're not the one on that
riding
bull.
the bull, and, you
With
know,
all its-
with all its moving parts, with, you know, you may lose your life. The bull may, like, go crazy bunk and you fall out and he steps on you and that's the end of you. You have to have your legs super tight on the bull. So it's so many moving parts that we're seeing somebody, you know, he's hanging out. That's one perspective. But the real perspective is the person within on top of the bull. And so look at moms like that. Your mom made bad decisions. Let's say that a mom made bad decisions in her 30s. But what if the decision started getting trenched since she was 5, 6 years old because she got molested and that was not in her control? And then that made her have another perspective. And then that made her like always want to crave different men touching her. And then that took her to be a prostitute. And then that took her to go into drugs because then she was so stuck in this miserable life that she would use, you know, some type of pills or drug form to keep her mind asleep. And then now she needs money to pay for the drugs because she's hooked on the drugs, and then now she has a baby and she already has all this life. What is the baby gonna get? Right? Crap. Exactamente.
Until she can
so
get out of it.
how are you gonna cut the cycle? It's not judging the mom. It's starting from the person that wants to change. So you go from there, you heal the past, and you move forward. It's not about judging the mom, like your mom's a piece of shit, she's a bitch. No, because
It's about
she
compassion.
lived. You have to have compassion. She lived what she could within her means of her life at that time, X years ago.
That's super hard.
That of course, but
So hard.
But why are you going to entrench yourself in judging her? You did right. You
you're
did
right.
wrong. Well, how do you
You're
know
right.
if somebody didn't put a gun to her? For example, we were living in Houston. I was gonna stay in Houston for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Right. I've been in and out of Houston for 4 years, and then I decided to move there full time with my family and with my daughter and my nanny, right, which was my family at that time. And then I met my husband, made a beautiful life in Houston, awesome business in Houston, and then we have a home invasion at gunpoint, and that shifted our whole life. And my husband says, we're not going to live in Houston. I've reviewed the crime rates. I've talked to the investigators.
bad.
I've talked to the security team, and things are really bad. So we're not going to put our life at risk. We're going to fly in for business, and we're going to leave the same day. So do you want to live in McAllen, or do you want to live in Miami? And I said, let's go to McAllen. Right? Because McAllen is my home. McAllen is where I would have a support group when I wanted to have kids, which we're going on maybe extra baby 3 and 4 and then my businesses are here. You know, this is the valley that made me, that broke me, and that made me again. I've been in business in the valley, different industries for 15 years, like no other place to come back home. My daughter sometimes says, Mom, what would our life be like if we were in Houston?
Yeah.
She was in the robbery, but she doesn't comprehend all the moving parts. She doesn't comprehend like the nature of the actual crime, the nature of security. So to her, in her mind right now, she's always like, what would my life be if I would be in Houston?
But that's pretty incredible about her mental strength, because who the hell would want to go back to Houston when Houston was where you got mugged at gunpoint?
Well, no, because
in your own home.
Because in Houston, she would do a lot of activities. She would do extracurricular activities that are not available here in McAllen. She had friends from all different cultures. She had Arab friends.
Yeah.
She had
true.
black friends. She had white friends. She had Chinese friends. So she would mingle with these kinds of people. She would eat their foods, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just a different environment. So let's say 10 years from now, my daughter moves to a big city and she says, I can't handle living in a big city. It was your fault, Mom. We used to live in a big city and you took me back to a small city. You understand?
Yeah.
That's her perspective. She's forgetting about what I was living at the time when we had to make a decision.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
So if she needs to heal that, she needs to say, my mom made this decision based on A. That's not my gift. That's not my problem. I'll have compassion and I'll forgive her. And I have to heal that to be able to move on and embrace the new city life. It's the same thing no matter how bad your past is. You need to bundle it and say, I suffered rape. I suffered prostitution. It was out of my control. That was my mom's abilities at the time.
Yeah.
I'm nobody to judge her, but to have compassion because I understand that life's happenings must have taken her that way. And I have to learn to accept that so that I could heal. So forget about on a Monday you woke up and somebody beat you up. On a Tuesday this happened. You need to learn to, like, the whole thing together, have compassion around the whole episode. If I'm making sense. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's like I'm listening to you and I'm thinking that's really tough for people.
I
like,
know.
Like, you know, where do they start?
They start where the pain starts for them. That's where it
Yeah.
starts. It doesn't start where their moms. It starts where the pain starts in them, in the person that wants to heal. That's where we begin.
Yeah. All I have to say is that, like, there can be a better coach than you when it comes to that because you're very practical. Like, I don't know, you can see things super, like, clear when it's, like, really deep.
Yes.
You know, we're too deep, we're too embedded in the emotion, and you're like, but hold on. But hold on, like, think about this. And that can immediately shift your life.
Yeah.
Like, to
And
be able to, like, just perspective.
that's my God's superpower. God's
It is
given
your
superpower.
superpower.
And I do that in business, and I do that
do.
in relationships, and I do that every single day.
I know.
That's just my superpower.
I know. So, you know, this episode
To
definitely
see clear in the midst of chaos.
to see clear in the midst of chaos. And a lot of the chaos that people don't even realize that they're in is emotional chaos.
1,000%.
Because they-
And emotions. What is emotions? It's your perspective.
It is that is all it's how you view the world.
It's
the
your-
past,
and-
the present, and the future.
It's
Like,
your perspective. 100%.
isn't that crazy? So you heal your heart as you're working on a more positive, intentional mindset. You're unstoppable. You're limitless.
Yeah, because everything's your perspective. What if somebody says, what is your financial dream? Oh, I want to have $1 million. Okay, I'm going to give you $1 million. And then I give you $1 million and you're like, oh, no big deal. That's what it feels like. Oh.
I know.
Because everything is your perspective. It's what you make out of it.
You know, I asked you, like, how you felt, like, when you know, like, that moment that you were like, oh, I'm a millionaire. You were like, it was just a day that my accountant called me and said, hey, by the way. And I was like, because it isn't. Because your mindset was already the mindset of a millionaire.
Yeah.
Your mindset of a millionaire happened when you were in the tiny little closet wearing Versace jeans.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like if I travel to a place on economy class, first class, or a jet, I feel the same way. I'm
Yeah.
focused on the big picture. I'm going to get there and I'm going to do this. So, for example, for my husband, that really, really matters how
Okay.
we get there. To me, it's not important at all. I can be like in the back row next to the restroom, or I can be in the front row. To me, I really don't care. So it's perspective of life, and it's what you decide. And the perspective comes with burdens, because if you have a perspective of something, and
You have expectations.
and you have expectations, and you don't get to that expectation perspective, then you get frustrated.
And FYI, expectations, you have expectations, you are constantly going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
And what this all comes down to, like, let's like nip it in the bud as we end this episode, is we have all these expectations about what our mother should have done.
Yep.
And what we need to do on this Mother's Day is release all of what we thought they should have done, what they didn't do.
Because that is not and will never be your life.
And now you're in control
Of your life.
Of your life.
And I am sure that when you think you have a perfect life, your children will still judge you. Because
Big
they're
time.
going to have their perspective.
Their perspective.
And it's a never, and when they have kids are going to have their perspective on them and so on and so forth.
But I will leave people with this, because I am and it works. Like, I see how comfortable the kids are with like telling me anything. Well, kids 30 and 20. But it's so amazing how if you're constantly owning what their perspective was, they immediately go, oh, well, how was it for you? Like, they're curious about, like, okay, well, that's how I saw it, but will you like share what were you going through? When you're like, I can't believe, look at everything I've done for you, blah, blah, blah. There's no conversation going to be had.
No.
There's no curiosity going to be had. There's like,
no
wow, she doesn't
compassion.
listen.
There's no
She
compassion.
doesn't care. So as a mother, the one thing I have realized as I've gotten older and my kids are my best friends is that you have to own their perspective.
1,000%.
And if you have the opportunity,
because that's their perspective.
they lived it. That's real.
But that's okay.
And it's
and if
okay.
it doesn't go with you, it's okay.
It's
and if you
okay.
have a different perspective, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Everybody can have their own perspective.
But when it comes to, like, if that's their perspective of how you raise them, say you're sorry.
Yeah.
What-
I'm sorry that you saw it like that.
I'm sorry that you saw it like that. And then there's so much healing
Yeah.
and communication and connection that happens.
1,000%.
So happy Mother's Day,
Happy
everyone.
Mother's Day. Go and love your mom. Go and forgive your mom. You're not the perfect mom. Your mom was not the perfect mom, because guess what? We are perfectly imperfect.
What is the perfect way for you to celebrate your mom? What do you do on Mother's Day? Because I know you like party like a
Yeah, we have to have a party. We have to have mariachi. We have to have food. We have to invite all the tias and the primas and everybody
Do you
else.
hug on your mom?
Well, me and my mom don't hug a lot.
Can I
How
challenge you on
funny.
this one?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
you're just
No.
gonna, like,
I hug her,
like,
but not like a lot. Like, we have a awesome relationship.
You do. You're like
she's
buddies.
my backbone. She's my coach. She's my legs. But her and I don't hug a lot. It's a funny thing. But yeah, I'm gonna go hug her a lot
Hug her a
today.
lot.
Today I'm gonna go hug her a lot.
Yes. Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna go do the same. Oh, that's weird.
Let's do that. Happy
do
Mother's Day,
that.
chicas. Las amo. Mwah.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to Heart, Mind, and Money podcast with Perla, the awesome Perla.
Thank you.
Yes, I want everybody to look into thelatinaempire.com. Look more into what this whole mission is. Also, on all our social medias is at The Latina Empire. At The Latina Empire. And to connect with Perla, who answers every single comment, message. We'll
anything.
send you a voice message. We'll ask you to send her your WhatsApp. She will answer anything, any problem, any advice. I mean, you're pretty remarkable at that. And you can find Perla on Instagram at Reflexiona
con Perla.
con Perla. But we are all across social media, and Perla is always, every single day, pouring into you through all social platforms at The Latina Empire. And we also have our community at the Mana Lounge that you can find more information at any of the links on any of our social medias. And we would love to have you as one of our manas.
We've got to keep learning.
We got to keep learning. We got to keep healing our heart,
Healing your heart.
challenging our minds,
Challenge your mind to fill your pockets.
to fill your pockets. Thank you guys for having us.